Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, episode number 2. And of course, this is the MMA show, Mastiff's MMA show. Let's quickly jump in here and we'll thank our sponsors. We've got Fraser's Next Level, and then we have, of course, Supplement King Portable Perry, which we are fueled by. Recapping. Those of you that follow my arm wrestling career know I was in Vegas last weekend. Unfortunately, the UFC was not. They were in Florida. So the 3 fights that we brought up last time on the show that we talked about doing some predictions for. Wow, did they deliver? So, where to begin? Gilbert Burns versus Hamzat Chemiev. Chemiev comes out as the heavy betting favorite, despite being ranked number 11th, and Gilbert Burns being ranked number 2. What we were treated to was a 3-round war between these two. And Gilbert was a lot tougher than we thought and a lot better than we thought. And Chemiev, we have a lot of answered questions. Can he go the distance? Obviously, he can. Can he take heavy punishment? The answer is obviously yes, he can. Now, that fight was way more competitive than people thought it was going to be. It went to a judge's decision, and the judges scored it accurately. Of course, going to Chemiev. Round 2 going to Burns, and round 3 going to Chemiev. The only thing that would have made the fight better is if it was a 5-rounder. You've seen now which way it would have went. I'm going to assume Chemiev, but I have a feeling we're going to see a rematch between these two in the near future. Now, that being said, next for Chemiev should be, and the boss says so, Colby Covington. Now, that match makes me a little more nervous for Chemiev. Not sure what he's going to do to answer Colby's wrestling, but it's going to be another great test. And if he can get by Covington, then I would think he would actually be the favorite going into a match with Kamaru Usman. The one thing Gilbert Burns did ask for is return the favor. Return the favor for me, being ranked number 2. Take also wanted to fight number 11th. He asked Chemiev. He didn't say I want an immediate rematch. He said in your next 2 or 3 fights, I would like a rematch. So if it's in the next 3 fights, Gilbert Burns might be having his rematch against the champ. That's a scary thing to think about, but it's a very real possibility. So moving on. Jamaine Sterling versus Peter Yan for the bantamweight title. Now we all know how the first fight went. The first fight ended in a disqualification where Peter Yan was dominating most of the fight and threw an illegal knee late in the fight, was disqualified, and Jamaine Sterling became the champ. So here we have a rematch where Peter Yan comes in and as the heavy favorite against the champ. And I believe it was actually interim versus reigning champ on this fight. They come in. It's a 5-rounder. I think the judges got this wrong, and let me tell you why. Oh, one of them got it right. 2 of them got it wrong. Because round number 1, I gave to Peter Yan. Rounds 2 and 3 were dominant on the ground, where Jamaine Sterling kept position and had his way with Peter Yan. So rounds 2 and 3 definitely went to Jamaine Sterling. Rounds 4 and 5 went to Peter Yan. Now, the only round that was up for contention that we could even argue about is round number 1. And 2 of those judges gave that round to Jamaine Sterling, made it a split decision. Jamaine Sterling is now the undisputed champ. Peter Yan definitely wants a rematch, wants to run that one back. I don't think he's going to get one of those right away. Of course, Jamaine Sterling probably doesn't want that. He called out TJ Dillashaw in the post-fight interview, and he wants that fight pretty bad. So anyway, we're up for some exciting stuff in the future between in that division. And the next one, of course, Alexander Volkanovsky versus the Korean Zombie, featherweight title. Here we see Volkanovsky beat the shit out of the Korean Zombie for the better part, well, of 4 rounds. And Herb Dean's jumping in right at the end. Sorry about that dog, guys. Herb Dean jumping in right at the end to save Korean Zombie from any more punishment. Korean Zombie is a game fighter, but he was just outclassed here. It's very clear to him, he even commented on this, that he will not be the UFC champ at any point in his career. Volkanovsky, there's possibilities for him coming up. And one of those is Henry Cejudo is now back in the USADA testing pool. So that makes for an interesting match. Now, that's the recap of the 3 fights we talked about last time. However, let's talk about a couple other things. Number one, my broadcast partner that's going to be joining me on this show could not make it today. Well, he could, but way later, and I don't want to wait until way later. I want to get this out of the way early in the day so you guys have something to watch. Now, also, this weekend, there's a Friday night card for the Bellator, and there's a Saturday night card for the UFC. I am actually way more excited for the Bellator card than I am the UFC card. So we got AJ McKee versus Patricio Pitbull for the Featherweight world title. And we've got Vadim Nemkov, which is the Russian that just got Ryan Bader out of there pretty quickly to win the light heavyweight world title versus Corey Anderson. This is interesting, an interesting fight. And then we've got, of course, Aaron Pico fighting as well against Aldi Edwards. It's an amazing card. It's free. Check it out. It is tonight. Tomorrow night, I am most excited about the main event more than any other fight on this card. And I'll tune in and watch the whole thing. But for now, it's a rematch. Vicente Luque versus Bilal Muhammad, and it's a rematch. Luque turned the lights out on Bilal the last time they fought. Tonight, we'll see. Saturday night, we'll see if it happens again. All these fights are free. Check them out. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Friday where we will rehash it all, and I will have a guest to bounce stuff off of. And let me know if you want to see this one to start go live so we can actually have some interaction in the chat. You guys let me know that. This has been Mastiff's MMA show and episode 2. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'll see you next week.